Yes, people, welcome to Never a Foul. Anyways, let's get straight into it. Man City 1, Crystal Palace nil. Well deserved. Weird that coming from a Manchester United fan, but here I am hosting. You can see who's going to be in here with us. I need to change that max reaction because it was 0-0, to be fair. So bear with me on that part. But yeah, man, big up for everyone that's in here. Daps is not going to make it, by the way. Just the only reason being is because he is out with somebody, which is his brother, because it's his birthday, and his little girl as well. Obviously, people don't know he's got a daughter, so he's not going to be appearing today. He will be here tomorrow, and he was here to take a battering just in case. On top of that, just in case he did lose, so no one can really get onto him. But City have put pressure on Arsenal. Who's going to win next? Could you guys in here, anyone that's actually watched his Never Foul, tell me that they didn't deserve that win? That was a penalty, by the way. Like, you can't tell me that he didn't hack down in the box. Elise is stupid, very, very stupid for doing that. This is why he never went to the referee. It was clumsy, and it is what it is, and Haaland buried it. They had so many opportunities to actually bury the game in the first half. So that's the way it goes. We're going to be joined by Nobbins, Hamza, Patrick as well, Mr. Mancunian, and obviously Vator. So other City fans. Yes, other City fans. Don't cry right now. But I believe, does that put them 2 points within Arsenal, I think? I believe it's Arsenal. So, I mean, it's 2 points. Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. But yeah, man. So by the time I wait for these guys, I'm going to literally talk with some of you guys as well. Let me see who's in the building right now. I can see quite a few of you, which is nice to see. We have man like Vator in the building with sub 2 City Extra Mancunian Way. Oh, see, he does know Mancunian Way. That's the guy that's joined the Mancunian Way. Man like J Millsy, King, Bailey as well. I think you might want to change that 7 up to Cherry Coke, my friend. M says absolutely bang average. Jacob salty. What did Jacob say? He says, I saw what Jacob said earlier. He said, let me see what you said, Jacob. He said, bailed out by Pens. Don't know why Palace didn't start with Eze. It's always a confusing time. Big up Charlie in the building. He says, get in. Big 3 points. Look, it's not easy to go to Crystal Palace away. I get it. Like, obviously, Arsenal smashed them at the start of the season, but every other team that does go there, bar Tottenham, typically have a hard time. So, it is what it is. But I must say, though, man, I must say it was a hard fought win. They were defended with resilience. That's why the tie was gonna be resilience, City resilience, because they got through this. And like this is what they were doing last year. There were some games where you don't play great. Times you play good. It is what it is, man. Who else says Sophia's football talk says also big up, love to see it. We're gonna be joined by Vator in a second. He'll give his thoughts on the game, I'm pretty sure, as well. But guys, if you're in here, make sure you're smashing the like button. As always, love to see it. And yeah, man, we're going to be running these reactions all the time now because, well, it's going to be in a generic channel if you're not going to run generic stuff. But obviously, big up my friend, Mr. Vator. I think this is like the second time we're speaking right now, ever. I think we spoke on a different stream. But what are you saying,
That's
man?
right.
Massive win, man.
Hey, massive, huge, critical, important, the proper response that was needed, given that we're making sure that we're in this title race to the very end. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm stressing, man. I'm not comfortable unless City has 2 goals. I'm not comfortable. And even though we got that one goal from Holland showing ice in his veins, I was still stressed. I'm glad we got the result because that's all that we want. 3 points and we move.
Yeah, 3 points is what's important everywhere. And obviously, I'm going to be joined by a couple others as well in a second. I just want to tell some guys some of the results before. I suppose I have to be. I don't like crediting my direct rivals, but look, the facts are there. City had 68% possession, 14 shots, 4 on target. Started the game, Rodri nearly buried one. There was a lot of chances. Gundogan as well. Bernardo Silva I think, could have done a little bit better as well. But on top of that, but Crystal Palace really proved no threat. Vator, man, it was literally what they had 4 shots the whole game. They had one near the end where no one got the end, and that sums up Crystal Palace right now. And you just took advantage of that.
They I, that's what we are to expect from them, man. I mean, Patrick Vieira is always going to have them defensively sound, resolute. There was at times they were defending with 6 guys at the back. It's to be expected. And again, I'm one of the calm, and I think many of the panel are one of the calm City fans that realize teams are going to set up against us like this. Like we
Mm.
just got to be patient. We got to move the ball around and not get too stressed. Look for opportunities. Them not having a shot on target. I think the stats going, they're like 3 games in a row now where they haven't registered a shot. So
you're not wrong there. Yeah, you're very right. Very
yeah,
right.
I mean, it's how they've been set up, man. City showing that they're going to be patient, resolute. We've been here before in terms of dealing with the pressure, and every player was taking their opportunities. I'm not mad at the performance at all. At all. I like how they kept looking for solutions.
Yeah, man. I big up Nobbins and Mr. Mancunian in the building. Mr. Mancunian, welcome to Never Fail. I never actually spoken to you before, but I think I see. I don't know if it's a fan, but there's someone called Sub the Flying Pig and Mancunian Way. Is that one of your guys at all? I always see him in it.
It's one of our subscribers, yeah.
Yeah, he's always in here, man. Big up yourself, man. And obviously big up Nobbins for coming on. It's date night for you, so it is what it is. You're here to talk about. See, look, smiles all around. It's good to see, man. Slightly, you can't deny happiness. Because you know what it is? I've got an agenda against Arsenal right now because I am done. But yeah, man, how are you guys feeling about the game?
Decent, yeah. Not the best. The performance was all right. It was okay. Obviously got the job done in the end. First half, we had a fair few decent chances to score. There was a good Grealish chance. There was a Rodri one. There was the Haaland one on any other day. He bags that. So I wasn't too worried about the first half performance. Obviously limited them to any chances, which is the main thing for Pep. And you did feel that if you keep playing like that, the goal will come. The goal will come. Eventually, it did come via a penalty and a set piece. But hey, you take every goal you get. And Palace literally did not have a shot on target. The only time they looked really dangerous was in like the 87th minute when they put like a ball across goal. Fortunately, there was no one there to tap it in. So I think that, what was it the best result to watch? No, but that's not really on City. It's basically every single team sets up like that against us. Like it always confuses me when people are like, "Oh, City's so boring to watch." You got to blame the defensive team for setting up in the most disgusting of low blocks. Like, if you're going to have, I don't like having a go at defensive teams because every team's entitled to play how they want to play. But if you're going to have a go at a team for not being good to watch, you've got one team who are always on the ball and always attacking, and then you've got the other team who are just not wanting to play football. I think you've probably got to figure out for yourself where the blame lies if you are going to try to make that statement.
Of course. And obviously, I'm going to call you Mr. Mancunian anyways. But yeah, man, what's your thoughts on the games? Because for me, it was exactly how Nobbins described it. But this is what's going to happen. This is what you're kind of used to, though, as well. You're used to teams like setting low blocks, and you have to figure out a way to beat them. And also, big up Patrick and Hamza, by the way.
Yeah, as Nobbins said, but we're quite used to the flat back nine. That's just the way we have to deal with it. But it's not. I'm not that particularly bothered about performances right now. We're into the part of the season where it's now results, and getting the win is massive, absolutely massive. 3rd clean sheet straight, 101 clean sheets for Edison. It's just great to see. And I always get more worried when we don't create chances. When we're not creating the chances, then get worried. But we were creating a lot of chances. We were keeping them to minimal, absolute minimal. It was one of them you felt it had to be a penalty or something special to break that Palace defence down. It had to be something. But Palace are very, very, very resolute when it comes to defending, especially at home. If you look at a lot of the big teams, I think there's only Tottenham gone there and absolutely smacked them. I think it was like 3 or 4-0 or whatever it was. But everyone else has gone there. And historically, people go to Crystal Palace away. If you look, Crystal Palace is always that game. I always remember the running when we beat Liverpool a few years back. It was where Liverpool dropped the points.
Yeah.
Palace is a very tricky place to go. And to come out of it with 3 points, for me, clean sheet is fabulous. And the pressure's now on to Arsenal tomorrow.
Obviously, what was you going to say, Vator?
No, and that's why I'm calm with the performance. I know Nobbins kind of said he wasn't quite happy with what he saw, but it's also because of Crystal Palace. But I'm happy with the performance because of the opportunities that were being created. Because we kept looking, we kept attacking, we kept looking for those dangerous spots. And like we said, if we had our shooting boots in that first half, it would have been a different story. But we kept looking, we kept attacking, and we showed creativity. We didn't look stifled. and that's why I'm really calm with it.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, big up Patrick Hamza, man. Before we go to Patrick Hamza, you usually are the most vocal guy around, when it comes to stuff online on Twitter in particular. Yeah. What you got to say about this? Obviously, you're happy. I can see from your smile you're absolutely happy, but I know you want to say something on Arsenal in it before you say anything about your own club,
Listen, I'm happy, man. I'm ecstatic. I'm loving it because you guys, Crystal Palace away is always one of our toughest fixture. Like, it is a really tough fixture. Like, last year, we struggled. And it was crucial. Liverpool were hunting us down and we were dropping points like Palace away, Sellers Park. So me, Sellers Park is a very hard ground to me. It's last time I remember winning it was when we had Yaya Toure and all that. Those are the guys, they were very physical and they could win games for yourself. But this team, I wanted them to grind that result. And this Arsenal team, it's a warning to Arsenal team because I'm laughing. They are all being, listen, Kaz, all today, they're all being voyeurs. They are watching this game. They're thirsty for that title. I know when you were hitting 70 minutes, they were praying that Palace, we drop points and Palace was going to win this game.
As you would.
They were so desperate that we were going to drop this point. And I was nervous. I was nervous because I'm always fighting Arsenal fans. And no disrespect to Arsenal fans. I don't want to see them win the title because so far what I've had from them is arrogance, disrespect, and I wanted this win. And I love it. We had to smash and grab this win. I love it because it shows me that discipline, patience, and resolute. And the City showed they were patient. They didn't panic. And backline, we were solid.
Yeah, you were solid.
Yeah, we were solid at the back. Every time
happy for John Stones, big part of that.
He played absolutely. I believe if he had played or him or Kyle Walker plays the Champions League, we win it. Fact, we win it. Yeah, because you can see we're more solid. Once we lose these players, it becomes difficult. And City fans, like we've spoken a lot about this, how important now to have all our centre backs back. It's crucial. Now, I don't need to panic about Leipzig. I can rotate. Bring Laporte in. Bring Diaz there. We have enough defenders.
You know what's mad? Daps was also saying that he'd rather rotate against Leipzig than he would against Palace.
Exactly. I would prefer having... Listen, City had players like Laporte, Stones falling out injured April, March, and we were panicking. We had 2 more games. I remember being a City fan, before West Ham game, there were talks that Fernandinho and Rodri were going to be our new centre-backs because Laporte was 50-50. Do you remember, guys? Laporte was 50-50. Bro, I was praying the season comes to an end because our players were falling down like flies. And this is why it's important. I wanted them fully fit between March and April. That's crucial, guys, because we need to win all our games. Yeah, it's important. And we need to have a full squad. That's why I'm happy we rotated them. Fresh players came on. Kawoko was fresh. KDB came fresh. You could see completely different team, and we were very disciplined. And this has sent a message to Arsenal fans that City will grind out results. And this is the style of champions. I'm sorry to say that, guys. This is the style of champions.
I'm not, you know what? I could sit here, agree with all you guys as well. Obviously, thank you, Patrick, for being patient as well before he has his say. But you could also say that about Arsenal, though. Why I'm going to pinpoint that last-minute winners against Bournemouth. Yes, it's only Bournemouth. Last-minute winners pretty much against Aston Villa. You could also say that's the stuff for champions for them. Look, I don't think Arsenal are going to even drop points tomorrow. I'll be real. I'll be hoping because I don't like them because I want them to literally finish with no trophies this season because I've had enough. I've tried, but I've had enough. You guys are my direct rivals. That's why I'd rather Arsenal win, right? Man City are the direct rivals. Arsenal are just my London rivals. That's just the way it is. So, but now I'm at this point where I'm had enough. The Kunles, the Gunalees, Casey, all you guys know who you are. Yeah, I'll come for your next pause. But Patrick, man, I see a lot of guys in the comments saying they're not really happy with the performance. As well, I'm seeing embarrassment City paying the refs again, cheaters, allegedly, Barcelona stuff. Who else is there? Up the Gunner says, you are Arsenal hater, cats. Come on, you Gunners, 3-1. And then Hamari saying time to go 5 points clear again. What are you saying, man? Are you happy or you're not? Because how can you not be happy with a W?
I don't know. I'm struggling with my internet. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I don't know
Your
what's happening.
audio,
As soon as I logged in,
your audio is perfect.
yeah. I don't get it. It's just it's given me very poor internet, and I'm connected straight to the modem, and that's very disappointing. Look, a lot of people are gonna hate. A lot of people are gonna cry, and I know right now a lot of people are hurt because they were looking for a draw from City. We've always been hated as City fans. We know that, and I've been telling a lot of City fans you have to accept it. If you don't accept it, you're lying to yourself. They don't like us. They'll never accept us. Right now, those tears you're seeing in the chat over there are the tears that we enjoy ourselves. Me, Martin, Vator, all of us. I'm pretty sure Nobbins, you also enjoy these tears. We're enjoying them. At the end of the day, people are saying it's cheating. The first one could have been a pen. Even the announcer said that was more of a pen than the second one, but both are pens. Look, the game was what it is, what we expect from Crystal Palace away, Southampton away, Spurs away. These are the games we expect. We always create chances, but sometimes we don't score. To be honest with you, it's either it becomes one of those games where I'm pretty sure everybody knows on the panel, Crystal Palace have got no chances on goal. One chance on goal, Crystal Palace 1-0. We've seen that story before with City. It's either it becomes a draw, we are all frustrated and we get pissed off. But today, we got the pen. And big up to my man, Haaland, man, because in a situation like that, in the past, as City fans, we've known.
Look, you could have Haaland taking your penalty. You could have Mo Salah taking your penalty. Which one do you want to have these days, right?
I know, but you know what? That's what I'm saying. Back in the days, we used to have situations like that, and we were sweating. And it looks like it doesn't phase that man.
Yeah,
it doesn't phase him. He didn't care. He just sat there, looked at it, and sent the keeper the other way. So look, man, the game was frustrating, and Crystal Palace had a game plan and it was working. And when they brought in Eze, what a baller, man. He was causing so much trouble. But look, City tried. They're hanging in there. The Zaha one, I'm pretty sure everybody's heart was almost out of their mouth when that went in. It almost, somebody could have finished it. But overall, look, it's a good game. We tried. And as Hamza says, this is what champions do. This is how we chase you. And you could see the players after the game, they were excited because they know what this means. And I hope to God that Arsenal don't win. I loved them last year, but this year they're becoming unbearable, very unbearable.
I agree, man. What you guys say? Go on.
I gotta say something real quick with regards to the starting 11 because when I saw that 11, I was like, "Who's playing right back? Is it Akanji? Is it Stones?" I'm like, "What's going to happen here? Is Pep kind of going to do some type of new approach?" And to have gotten the result with Stones coming off of injury, playing at right back, speaks volumes. I don't know if he did a little disciplinary keeping Walker off that pitch today. I don't know if that was the case, but he had Stones playing right back, and that was huge. He almost played the entire game. We sometimes have our doubts on whether Akanji can play that role, but he was sound today as well. And we know at left back, Ake, he locks that down. We don't even worry about him. And
left back in the world.
You said it, man. You said it. Man's been on fire.
Ake and Grealish today. I mean, anyone
Grealish
who wants to slate,
he was wicked.
Anyone who wants to start slating Grealish, please just open your eyes. The guy was outstanding again today. Man of the match by a country mile. And you just said, Kaz, yeah, you've got Arsenal who are getting last minute winners, but there's a big difference in the minute. Arsenal are leaving the back door open all the time at the minute. And City are actually now starting to keep clean sheets consecutively.
By the way, I think I need to highlight this. I think that's just made me remember something. I think this is finally your third win in a row in the Premier League. Finally, 3 wins in a row, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We actually equaled our season record.
Oh, there you go.
So far,
it's been peak, hasn't it? It's been peak. Where are the days of 5, 8, 10 in a row? Anyway, let's move. The Premier is stronger right now.
We've been so inconsistent to the point where we've just matched winning 3 in a row, right? Or we're just having it for the first time. And look how close proximity we are of Arsenal and the phenomenal, fantastic run that they've had, right?
I'm more pleased about the clean sheets, though. It's the 3 clean sheets in a row that gets me more excited because that means our defense has been a problem, not because it isn't good enough, but because it's been it's been changed left, right. You saw it again today. It got changed. Who plays 2 centre backs on the right hand side and leaves all your natural right backs?
Yeah.
Or on the bench. Only Pep does that.
Yeah.
But what annoyed me is with Palace, going back to Nobbins' point earlier, is Palace looked a better team when they went 1-0 down. They looked like they suddenly give a damn.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That reminds me of Man United when we went 1-0 up against them. We're all over them, and somehow when we get the 1-0, come second half, it's like last 10 minutes or 15, they decide to switch it on.
Oh yeah, they got that late equalizer.
Yeah,
the free kick.
through an absolute screamer of a free kick. Unfortunately, yeah, it is what it is. It's not about Man United though, is it, Nobbins? It's about your team.
No.
Talk to me about. Obviously, Phil Foden came off a little bit early, as well, and I was quite surprised by that. But he didn't have his best of games today.
No, he's been really good in like sort of the past 4 games. Foden's, I don't know why, Foden this season especially seems to have gathered a lot of haters. I don't really know why that is. He was very good pre-World Cup. Got injured at the World Cup. Pep said he came back with an injury. And his games post-World Cup, he wasn't good because he had an injury in his foot. That was exacerbated at Old Trafford. And then he was out for a bit. But then he came back fit in the past 4, which have been the past 4 games where he played against Newcastle, Forest, Bournemouth, and Bristol. And he's played very good in all 4 of those games. I know he had that weird thing at Forest where he didn't square it to Haaland and sort of fell over, but in the game he was very good. I believe his foot injury was actually aggravated in the Newcastle game as well. So going into this game, there was a question mark of whether he'd actually been. So I was surprised to see him start, to be fair. Maybe that was impacting his game. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making excuses for him. But he didn't have a good game. But across the whole season, Foden's actually been very good. People just have a weird revisionist history with Foden. As I say, people are keen to sort of get on his case for no real reason. Sometimes you have a bad game. Bellingham didn't play well against Chelsea the other day. He's still a very good midfielder. Like, you know, having one bad performance, I wouldn't really look too much into it other than like he just had like an off game. Overall, he's a very good player and has a very good season.
Yeah, that's right. Hamza as well, man. You're very vocal about Foden. You've been running. You know what it is? You add to this, though. You can't lie to me. Twitter, you're always doing this Foden, Saka, bullshit. You're a contributor.
Listen, no, I'm not contributing to hate. I think there's certain fan base who, I'll be honest with you, and you have to say honestly, like Saka and Foden, no disrespect. I remember I met my friend who's like a Real Madrid fan, and he said, listen, a lot of these players meet each other in international games, and I'm sorry to say that Saka's got 4 Premier League titles. I know Foden's got 4. And Saka has 0. And to me, the only thing the Arsenal fans are trying to prop is the fact that their star boy, to try and put him on the high pedigree of that top level in the world. Like, and I've always questioned, I said, listen, Foden's got all the 4 Premier League. No player at such a young age, with the greatest coach in the world, would be starting and winning league titles season after season. And the common question, they'll say, oh, but if Saka was at Man City, he would do even better. And I say, listen, I've seen Cesc Fabregas going to Barcelona, and when the level's higher, he can't play. Alexander Song, when he went to Barcelona, Arsenal players, they can't do it. Alexander Hleb went to Barcelona, he couldn't do it. Sometimes when you start playing with top-level players, you see Grealish last season, he was shocked. When you're playing with that top-level players, you have to be at the top level, top level. Because the rest will shine. KDB is going to shine. So Foden has got that pressure of that KDB and Bernardo. And poor guy, he's been injured. Yeah, he's been injured. Saka gets protected so many times. I've seen him having a stink against USA. He had a stinker. The whole England Cup called for Foden to be played. Foden came on. He played absolutely impressive. He was injured again. And then we've missed it. I think, to me, we have to respect the best natural talent. He's like gifted footballer. You can see the ball control, technical ability, absolutely world class. Saka is also class, but there's level to this game. And I think there's a lot of hatred from Foden because of jealousy. Jealousy from Arsenal fans who have not seen their star boy get any Premier League titles or top medals at all. And Man United fans who want to compare probably Sancho to him. But to me, I think I've always said, Saka's hard-working, but Foden's got the talent. And money can't buy talent. And today,
wait, you say Saka don't have talent?
Did you just say that Foden's the most talented English player ever or something? Did I just mishear you?
I think since Gascoigne and Wayne Rooney, I think you can see the talent he has. The ball control, the dribbling, the way he takes players off the game. Look at him. The ball was behind. He took you out of the game. The defender, brilliant. That's technical ability. You can't teach that. That's natural ability. Saka's got the hard work and the desire. But Foden, to me, Gaza, Wayne Rooney, I think Foden, those guys are just technical ability. They're just top level. They're natural street footballers. And you have to give credit to them. That's what I rate him. But Foden has to put his head down and listen to the greatest coach in the world and trying to elevate himself, because I've seen a lot of fan base around the world, even Barca fans, Real Madrid fans, they love Foden. They love Foden.
I love Foden as well. I just think you might be slightly overselling him by saying he's like sort of like in the Wayne Rooney tier. I think Wayne Rooney at 22, 23 was a much better player than what Foden is right now.
Wayne Rooney had that aggression, was different. He had the aggression, the desire, the wanting to win. But Foden, what he has, that's better than him, the technical ability, the ball control, the drive, you can see. But Wayne Rooney had that drive. You know, that little urge to drive the ball, winner, hunger mentality. He had that. But you can't take it away from Foden. There's some players like Iniesta and Xavi. They don't need to show passion and desire on the pitch. They're just talented. They're just masterclass on the ball. Pedri, Gavi, they're just masterclass on the ball. But Wayne Rooney was different. He had the desire. But I think Foden, and Pepper said it, he's one of the best players he's ever worked with. And we have to be humbled and respect Pep Guardiola, because to me, I believe he's the greatest coach. And he knows he's managed Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Kimmich, Lam. And he says Foden is one of the most talented he's ever coached.
Yeah, we can always go off and talk about and do this obviously debate on who's great and everything. But back to the game a little bit, obviously, just to put the direction. Mr. Mancunian, man, you was mentioning Grealish earlier. Guy's been transformed into a different type of player. He looks a little bit more aggressive. He looks like he knows what he's doing more time. You know, when someone's got some instructions and they're just sticking to it, and that's what it is. He was calling havoc towards their that left-hand side pretty much all game, if I'm being honest. There was a period where he went a little bit quiet, I'd say, but this is why Elise had to keep tracking back. This is probably why Elise, in the end, I know it was Gundogan, but why he had to get so far, because I think Pep must have clocked it or something. That left-hand side of yours or right-hand side of theirs was their weak point, because their left-hand side was actually quite decent.
The thing with Grealish is everyone looks at the price tag. Everyone immediately has just gone straight to 100 million. Wasn't his fault. It was a release clause. Anyone who was going to buy Jack Grealish had to pay that release clause. Now, what you've got to realise is there's been plenty of world-class players at City who have struggled in the first year to 18 months. Rodri was a disaster in his first year. You have, I can't remember whether it was Sterling or there was somebody else who did not have a great first season either. And you're like,
was it Diaz? Was it Diaz?
And you've got, Diaz had a great
Mahrez.
season. His second season, he sort of declined a little bit. Diaz was the opposite. He had a great first season, not so much second. But it's just time. And Grealish has been so vocal and said, at first, I was like a tadpole going in. At Villa, I was a shark in a pond. He said, I walked into Manchester City and I was a tadpole in an ocean. And he looked like a competition winner at the beginning. Very much when you look at Calvin Phillips right now. Calvin Phillips looks like he sort of won a competition to play for Manchester City and play under Pep Guardiola. And all it is just time, and it's just getting used to it. But sadly, as I keep saying, some fans don't want to give time anymore. They immediately look at the price tag and go, we're expecting it straight away. And it's not the guy's fault. People say, well, he's not added goals. Well, he has added goals to his game and assists to his game. But if you're expecting him to score every second game, it ain't going to happen. He wasn't a big goal scorer at Villa.
Yeah,
but to me, he's integral. He is the control to our whole front three. He is the guy who controls it. And today, he was scaring Palace for fun. You couldn't deal with it.
I have one thing, though. Just one thing. I think I was criticizing him at the beginning of the season because we gave him the first season, and I was like, okay, look, for the price, I don't care about the prices anymore these days. There's a lot of players that went for prices that you look at and you're like, did they seriously buy that guy for that price? I think the only thing he has to do, which I think is capable of, is when he gets in the box or close to the box, I think he's very dangerous. I think the fact that nobody can get the ball away from him, I saw him do this against one of the teams we played in the Champions League, and they had to take him down before he went in the box. When he goes down the middle, and when he does one of those drifts and goes down the middle, I think he has to shoot sometimes. I've noticed that he stops and tries to look for somebody else. I get it. He said it also in his interview. I don't know if you guys saw the interview. It came out 2 days ago. He said, sometimes you stop and say, let's give it to De Bruyne. De Bruyne, do something. I sat there. I was like, that's one of the things you should take out of your head. Don't stop this behavior where you're like, let's give it to De Bruyne. De Bruyne do something. Or let me give it to Haaland. He'll finish it. There's opportunities where I've seen that, he's going to shoot. Like that shot he had today. I don't care if he missed. I was excited. I was like, that's who I saw at Villa sometimes. I saw that goal against Man United. He scored a similar goal against United.
Top bins, yeah.
Yeah, I had to throw.
Wait,
that
which one? There's the one where he scored for you guys, and there's one for Villa where he pointed.
The Villa one where he bent there, but this time he decided
Don't
on the
remind
side.
me.
I think if he does, he will. I think eventually he will. I think I'm also calling him one of the most unlucky City players because he's had shots that are very dangerous and somehow keepers have saved them. But I think he has to do more of that. I'm telling you, Martin, that's what's going to happen. This is what I've noticed, especially the generation these days. It's all about assists and goals. And when they see that you are assisting and scoring like Haaland, now it's about the eye test or you're failing the eye test. There's always an agenda that's going to drift. I can give an example. Antony at United, people might look at his assists and goals and criticize him, but trust me, he's very important for that Ten Hag system. Antony, when he comes out of that team, there's something missing that side. And the way he tracks back, the way he presses is something that Ten Hag needs. That's why he needs Antony in there. So Ten Hag doesn't care about Antony scoring 3 goals or not scoring any goals. So sometimes a manager needs a player for a system. But I'm telling you, I think it's also about goals. But for me, I think Gage can get more goals. And he said it himself in his interview. And if he does, I think it can actually go to the point where people will stop talking. But
it's a great point. You
people
met that.
continue talking. Yeah.
Sorry, Cass. It was. You go back to so many games. Jack Grealish. Some of the shots he has, you're watching goalies pull off world-class saves. They're getting blocked because every time Grealish goes anywhere, he's dragging 2 and 3 players with him straight away.
Yeah, you're right.
He's dragging them out all the time, and that doesn't sort of happen all the time. And what he's doing is he's creating space for others.
You know what I'm gonna say? Yeah. This might correct me if I'm wrong, innit? You lot are this is your team. I don't think there's actually anything wrong with your front three. I just think there's issues with your midfield other than Rodri. Your 2 centre mids. Kevin De Bruyne is not the same guy. I'm sorry. He's played at such an elite level for so long at a high standard. There's going to be a time where he drops performances. Maybe he needs to come off and have different games here and there. Look, Bernardo Silva, he's doing his best. But he don't even look like he wants to be there sometimes. Sometimes he does, like first start of the season, but then you see him some great performances, gets his head knuckled down, and maybe might be a little bit too. Gundogan is getting on with age, in my opinion, and he's just dropping that little bit of a level. And when I mean by that little bit of a level, I don't mean that he's dropping to an average standard player. No, I'm talking about the City level standards, just that little level below. And why I'm going to keep saying that, I don't know, maybe the future lies within Foden and Grealish, maybe more in the middle of their careers, maybe in the centre or not out wide potentially. But I think there's something missing within City's central midfield area. I don't know if anyone disagrees, but this is where
I disagree.
I agree.
No, I disagree.
I knew he was going to disagree.
I agree.
No,
and if I speak on De Bruyne this season, anyway, let's keep on.
No.
I know, agree to disagree. I said I'm not the fan.
Yeah.
I can only go off what I see from what I'm typically seeing from Manchester City and what I see in certain games. You lot watch the games way more than me. That's all I'm saying. That comes from a rival's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear you. I think having that observation, having that perspective, that's fine. I'm not going to kill you over it. But I think it's interesting when we look at KDB in particular. We look at Silva with regards to the midfield, and we also know what they had to do this season with regard to World Cup. And I'm not making excuses for them, but there's no real drop in terms of they've fallen off a cliff. I think there's been games where the mileage got a little. There's too many consecutive games for Silva, for KDB, and we've noticed a difference when KDB's gotten that rest. He's a different player. I mean, Pep chose not to play him today. He chose to not play him today. Obviously, keeping an eye on Champions League, and obviously our FA Cup game. So he's like, I know I can't rely on these players 31, 32 to be playing a game every 3 days. I think that's a little bit of the thing, they don't seem to be as sharp as I'm accustomed to with regards to the midfield. But I said this on my show. There's synergy between the attack, the midfield, and the defense. And when Pep's done his experimentation, he switched things up. It affects everything on that pitch. I mean, no one passes the ball. No one kind of takes those aggressive, maybe unseen passes. No one does other than KDB. But at the same time, when those passes aren't hitting, they're glaring. You're like, I'm accustomed to KDB putting that on a plate. When it doesn't happen, it's a little off. I don't think Silva deserves the kind of, as he fallen off. I think, again, it's different combinations. Pep has had Silva play right wing, pivot, left back, and he's played CDM. He's played all over the place. Same has gone for Gundogan. Like, there's just a difference in terms of how much Pep has kind of moved these players around instruction-wise. But it's a fair criticism, but I had to push back on it.
No, but I by all means, trust me, I want your team to lose every single week, every single day, if that's the case. But of course, it's never going to happen. Nobbins, Hamza, what we saying with City? Where do you think like areas can improve? Because at the end of the day, a game like this is your bogey team, but you usually go on this game and go with like in the first half. If Palace were playing against that sort of side or sort of way against the Man City of last season, that's a 2-3-0 for me. Do you know what I mean?
No, last season, in fact, we drew there. Like, we drew.
I'm talking about if you put the Palace of today against the Man City of last season, because I think Palace were actually quite decent last season.
Probably 3 years ago. 3 years ago when we had Leroy Sané, Sterling, the quick pace, at the back, and we would attack the wing back so fast. But I think one thing I have to say, when these players become older, they become wiser. They've had life experiences in games where they've lost game through naivety. So they will play very smart as you're wiser. You've seen how Madrid play. They're more smarter in a way to play. They don't mind having the ball. And when they get the ball, they think, yo, let's take that chance. Thing is, KDB, okay, 1 or 2 games, but he's had the most assists in the Premier League. Haaland, who gets slandered, has the most goals by far in the Premier League. Probably the highest goal scorer in Premier League history, like by now. No one has ever scored those amount of goals like Haaland. KDB has been in. But one thing that I think, and I've said that theory, I think the World Cup had an effect on a lot of these players because the World Cup was a lot of pressure. They had to cover a lot of miles. People had to put the desire. That's where everyone, and I think a lot of our players like KDB, they went there, and Bernardo, they were worn off a bit. They came back, and there was an article, I think, somewhere that someone said that City, among City staff, have realized that players have come back a bit jet lag, tired, fatigue since the World Cup. That was reported first 3 games, and I could see that. But the key thing to this, I think, City, we haven't got the fast wing backs, but one thing that we needed to have, I think, is the left backs and the right backs.
That's true. That's true.
That left back, let's say for example, left back. When that case with Benjamin Mendy went, we thought we would get a left back, but Pep turns Zinchenko into a left back. But then we sold Zinchenko thinking we'll get left back. Then he turned Cancelo, the right back, into a left back. Then when we sold Cancelo, he turned a centre back into a left back. So I said, Pep's good at one thing. He's good at making, if you want to make a left back and you need a left back, give it to Pep. He made Bernardo play left back amazingly. But we need a left back. I need someone to bomb forward. Cause you know when you're running left backs and the right backs, like you've seen Alphonso Davies get on that left back position. You've seen that. That's what we need next season. We have to get that. But this style of football, of playing Ake and Stones, will win you the Champions League. But sometimes, against games like these guys who pack the bus, when you need to open them up, it becomes difficult because they're going to pack the bus. Then John Stones doesn't come forward. John Stones, Did you guys see John Stones in the box, or did you see him on the right back position? Did you see him bombing forward? No. Yeah. So we missed that, cause people haven't realized. So this game in Champions League, definitely, because you can sit back and say, I'm sitting back and I'll hit you on the counter. But in these small games, it can be very dangerous because we could today, cause we could have drawn 0-0.
You could have.
If
We
we
would
didn't
be
have a
having a
setup.
different conversation right now. All this hyping up Grealish, this, that, and the other. The defense is obviously still keeping a clean sheet. You could have a whole different thing. Nobbins, man, obviously being patiently quiet there and everything. Obviously, we're talking. There's positives, there's negatives, but overall feeling, man. What are we saying? Like, who's Man City got next? I believe you've got in the league. Is it none other than Liverpool?
I don't know. Is it? Oh, is it Liverpool? Okay, there you go.
I think you got Liverpool at the Etihad in your next game.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Next league game, yeah.
Just to respond to what's been said there, I disagree.
yeah.
We need a left back. Ake exists, and he's been for me the best left back in the league this season. Don't bring Luke Shaw at me. Ake's been the best this season.
Defensively,
we need Hey, do you not see his goal against Arsenal? Offensively as well, I'll have you know.
I mean,
I would like a backup left back, but in terms of like a first choice, I don't think we need to be worrying about that. I also don't know if we need to be worrying about long-term right back. Rico Lewis looks like a pretty tidy player. My thoughts on the whole, is the midfield worse than it was last season, etc. And what's like the reason why maybe City aren't as good compared to last season? I think I'm more inclined to agree with you, Cass, because if you look at the goals scored, for example, we've scored more goals than last season at this stage compared to last season. The issue is we've conceded like another 8 or another 10. So the issue is a defensive one. I'm not talking about a defender issue. It's an issue of we're conceding way more chances on the turnover because our midfielders, for some reason, keep making very odd errors. And it's nothing. I've seen this school of thought of, the midfielders are trying to hit Haaland quicker. They're trying to be more direct. But they're just basic passes that these players aren't making sometimes. You think of the Rodri one against Everton, for example, where he just like passes the ball to Damari Gray or whoever it is, and then they just score. There's so many examples of that where the likes of De Bruyne can't make a 5-yard pass. And I don't know why. De Bruyne is having a weird season. Before the World Cup, I thought he was like world class.
Yeah.
Post World Cup, he's still the thing with De Bruyne is he doesn't play well in a game, but he still gets an assist because that's De Bruyne. He will have a really bad night. He'll have a really bad 89 minutes, but then in 1 minute he'll do something amazing and get an assist. And you're like, oh, that's why he's on the pitch. So I do think it is more of a midfield issue, and I do think it is a case of these players aren't as good as they were last season. Now, why that's the case, I don't really know, to be honest. But it's clearly not an offensive issue if we're scoring more goals compared to last season. We're just conceding more chances.
No, he's right. I was going to add that part. Like, yeah, I read that City have conceded 25 goals this season already now. But last season, the whole season, we conceded 26 goals. So basically, you're right completely. But do you think that our attacking football, one of the things about football, they say sometimes, you can play attacking, like Barcelona when they used to play tiki-taka. They'll pin you back. That there's no way you're coming forward. You don't hit them. And they'll concede very less goals because Dani Alves, they're bombing forward. They've got you on hold. And the problem is this season we haven't got...
Can't lie though, Hamza. I know with that, but how special you have to be to have an Iniesta, Xavi, a Messi, the best player like in his prime, a Dani Alves, an Eric Abidal, and all them kind of players all in one team. Imagine that team might take a very, very long time again to assemble to be doing that in this lifetime.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. What was you going to say, Mancunian?
I'm just gonna. You got to remember we've changed our total way we play football. We've changed it. We now go to this 3-2-2-3, and that has contributed to conceding more goals. Disagree with Hamza respectfully on the fullback situation because I think Grealish upturn is no coincidence when Cancelo disappeared out the team. The problem was you had Grealish and Cancelo trying to do the same job. Grealish is sat there watching Cancelo go, well, you've gone into my area. You've overlapped me and gone to where I'm meant to be going. That's no good. But we don't this winger overlapping fullback. sorry, but City fans need to realize it's over. It's done. That era of football under Pep and Manchester City is finished for now. Not saying we'll never go back to it, but for now it's done. The area, it's why you see a lot of our transfer links. They're not wingers. They're not wing backs. All our transfer links are one area, midfield. Because that's the area that does need overhauling. Gundogan is what, 32, 33. Kevin De Bruyne is 31, 32. Bernardo Silva has had an up and down season, but we all know he wants to leave England. It's not a Manchester City problem. It's doesn't like the wind and the snow problem. It's just with players come to the end of an era.
Yep.
That's just simple facts of football. And I get some fans don't like it, but you got to remember, to me, this season has been used as an experiment of getting used to this new system, which was played at Barcelona. This was what he had at Barcelona, this 3-2-2-3 of go. And it was all control, but then with a little bit more directness. And if you've noticed, he's sort of still tinkering. Next season, when we get the players, hopefully we get, we will be fine because we'll buy players that suit that system. Why Rico Lewis has slotted in so well? Because he's played that system from 7-8 years old. Why he looks so good at doing it compared to a Kyle Walker at 32 who's like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to bombing forward and overlap. So it's about patience and just letting it play out.
Yeah, that's definitely right. There's this sort of like almost like a nostalgia thing with City fans of, let's get back Leroy Sané, let's get back Sterling.
Yeah.
But we don't play that sort. We don't need direct wingers like that anymore because it might be fun on the eye, it might be interesting and exciting, but if you've got a direct winger, what does that mean? It means you lose the ball more. What happens if you lose the ball more? It means you're more likely to be susceptible to a counter-attack, which is the exact opposite of what Pep wants to do. He's obsessed with control, hence Grealish playing nearly every single game he can do, because what Grealish offers City is control above all else. Is he as fun as Leroy Sané to watch? No. But is it more effective for what Pep wants? Absolutely.
Harder than Sané.
Yeah, so it's evolution, as you say, and this team is just going through its most recent evolution. And Cass, I've got to head off if that's all right, because I need to go eat some carbonara.
Yeah. I'm about to wrap up anyway, so don't you worry. You go do your thing.
No worries. Love the music, guys. Bye.
Go on, Patrick. Big up, man. Patrick, can I
ask a question quickly, Cass?
No.
So,
you're gonna ask anyways. You're gonna ask anyways, so go on.
Go ahead, Hamza.
The problem is, I've seen games. I remember games where Grealish would drive the ball. Yeah, he's driving the ball. He needs a pair of hands, and I've seen Ake learning that now. Have you seen Ake will get in the box these days? Have you seen today? He got into the box 2 or 3 times, but before that he couldn't, and that helped because he drags one player out of the game. And Grealish is a brilliant dribbler. We've seen it this season. And Mancunian, you're right. I've been saying that he's been one of our best players. If Haaland wasn't scoring that much goals, people would have been talking about Grealish this season for Man City as the best player. If Haaland wasn't scoring 27 goals, Grealish has been the best player because he dribble past one player, he holds the ball, he dribble, he changed, and that's what we need. But what we needed from this season that I saw at the beginning, I saw Grealish playing with Stones. And one time Grealish was it Brentford game? Was it Brentford game? That he became frustrated and he was telling Stones, "Come on, man, I can't help me. They've got 3 on me already." And that's what he needs. So you're right. I can see why you're saying 3-2-2-3 that City are playing. But sometimes that 3-2-2-3, you need to have more of an attacking threat, to be helped forward, because otherwise we'll just nullify those 3 up front. Like I've seen Foden's not his best, but Grealish, he doesn't score goals. But I think he cannot be more of a danger guy if he had anyone to help him. But I think Ake's learning. But I think 100%, number one thing, City need to sign. We need to go through that transition, you're one. Number 2, the thing that worries me most, and I pray every day, I'm thinking, are we really going to sell? Are we going to lose 2 midfielders this season? That's going to be a massive blow. So I know Gundogan is 32. I know Kevin De Bruyne is 31 and Bernardo wants to leave. I can't afford to lose 2. I can't afford to lose Gundogan. and Bernardo and go through that change.
Well, I think you are though. To be fair, it looks like
You don't have a
you
choice.
don't have a choice. And it just depends who the replace. It just always depends. You can say this now, but you imagine you do bring in a Jude Bellingham and another a centre mid. Maybe Lavia comes back to Man City where in a cut price deal as well because they're getting relegated or some sort of like. You won't moan them, would you? You'd be like, you know what? I like this.
Well, we've got a buyback anyway, cast for 40 million.
I think he goes back to Man City. I think he's shown enough quality that he can handle. That he's easily the best player at Southampton at the moment. Anyone else want anything else to say? Vator's been kind of quiet, obviously.
I just wanted to say one thing. Just one thing. For me, to be honest with you, on the midfield, I was agreeing with you because of one thing. I've been saying it. I'm a sort of different fan. Like I get it. Somebody has got credit in the bank. Somebody has done something for us. You're appreciative, but sometimes don't sacrifice a game because somebody is a star or somebody is too good. Why I'm saying this is there was moments throughout this season where De Bruyne was not playing well, and I don't blame it on De Bruyne. He had a very bad World Cup, and I think it can be a mental thing. And at the end of the day, he has carried us in years before, where he's carried us to the title. Bench him. I think this benching that has been happening is right. Martin is right. Sometimes he needs to rest. Make him rest. It's not a thing to just force De Bruyne until he does something. He might do it, but some games, there was games where you'd be like, please bench De Bruyne. He's not having a good game. Just bring somebody else, like Alvarez, who seems to be able to drop into that midfield. Bring a bit of energy. So look, at the end of the day, you saw De Bruyne came on because he's rested. He looked like he was more hungry for it, which I am looking forward to the Leipzig game. But overall, you're right. City fans have to let go. Start letting go, because I don't think we should start holding on to De Bruyne and Gundogan as they're going towards the age where sometimes you need legs in that midfield, because we're going to end up like Liverpool, where they're hanging on to 170-odd Milner, still playing him left back, and holding on to Henderson just because he's a captain, while his legs are gone. So we're going to have to be careful. And you know what? I trust in Pep, because Pep has been seeing it already. That's why Maximo Perrone is in the team quietly, sitting in there. He knows that I need extra legs. Even though De Bruyne stays, or Gundo stays, or Bernardo Silva stays, I still need these young midfielders in the midfield. Yeah. That's all I just wanted to say, that we should stop saying, oh, just because it's this. Because trust me, if Grealish is having a stinker, my God, we'll hear it from the first second. So be fair. Every player has to be judged the same way. If they're having a stinker, bench them.
Yeah,
they
I
have
agree.
Another match they can play.
Appreciate Vator. Obviously, he's not here now. Nobbins as well, who's also left. Big up Mr. Mancunian. Obviously, first time and never foul. We're going to be running reactions all the time now as well. It's only fair. You know, it is a generic channel, so it will be not just Man City. As you know, before Tottenham, Chelsea, Man United, etc., etc., Liverpool. So yeah, man. Appreciate everyone, Patrick as well, and Hamza for taking out their time to talk to you guys. So appreciate it, and yeah, man. We'll be
I personally think you should be doing it 7 times a week.
Oh yeah, them jokes. I need a cherry coke.
I see what you're doing. Bournemouth. You know what? I'm so happy about that. The Liverpool thing did not last for long, did it?
That's made my weekend. That's made my weekend.
Yeah.
Well, go on. What are you
That's
saying?
the Premier League for you.
Yeah, what are you saying, Hams?
Nah.
You gonna say Hamza?
Hamza with us.
Is he okay?
I don't know. He's just quiet.
He's
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, man. Thanks for having us, man. We appreciate the invite, man. And thank Dubs, man. Big up to Dubs and yourself, man.
Big thank you for having us on.
I appreciate it.